Alrighty guys, what's going on? We're going to go ahead and hop into this free agency as it has been one of the craziest free agencies I have ever seen in my life. But okay, let's just go ahead and hop into it and get started. First of all, we're going to start off with Nikola Vucevic. He agreed to a 4-year, $100 million contract to stay with the Magic. Next, we have Brook Lopez, who agrees to a 4-year, $52 million deal to stay with the Bucks. Next, we have Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, who both choose to play for the Nets next season. Next, we're on to Terry Rozier, who played with the Celtics last season, has decided to sign with the Hornets on a 3-year, $58 million sign and trade between the Hornets and the Celtics with Kemba. Rudy Gay re-signs with the Spurs on a 2-year deal worth $32 million. Next, we have Chris Middleton, who the Bucks are bringing back with a $178 million max contract. Next, we have JJ Redick, who decides to sign with the Pelicans for 2 years, worth $26.5 million. Derrick Rose to the Detroit Pistons on a 2-year, $15 million deal. Kristaps Porzingis signs max deal to stay with the Dallas Mavericks, who had just traded for him before last season's deadline. Next, we have Malcolm Brogdon with a sign and trade deal from the Milwaukee Bucks to the Indiana Pacers. Indiana will pay Brogdon $85 million over the next 4 years. Also to the Pacers, we have Jeremy Lamb, who signs a 3-year, $31.5 million contract. Next, we have Ricky Rubio, who has just signed with the Phoenix Suns on a 3-year, $51 million contract. Tobias Harris agrees to the 76ers on a $180 million max contract, 5 years. Next, Rodney Hood has agreed to a deal to stay with the Portland Trailblazers on a 2-year, $16 million deal. George Hill staying with the Bucks, 3-year, $29 million. Next, we have Julius Randle, who agrees to sign with the New York Knicks on a $63 million deal for 3 years. We also have Taj Gibson, who also signed with the Knicks on a 2-year, $20 million deal. The 76ers are on a 3-team sign and trade to send Jimmy Butler to the Miami Heat, who will sign him to a 4-year, $142 million contract. It looks as if the Sixers will receive Josh Richardson. The Dallas Mavericks will be the 3rd team in the trade, as they will receive Kelly Olynyk and Derrick Jones Jr. in the sign and trade deal. Next, we have the 76ers, who sign Al Horford to a 4-year, $109 million deal. Next, we have Robin Lopez, who is joining the Bucks with his brother, Brook Lopez, who just signed a major deal with the Bucks. Also with the Knicks, we have Bobby Portis, who has decided to sign a 2-year, $31 million deal. We have Jamal Murray, who agrees to a max extension with the Denver Nuggets, 5-year, $170 million. Next, we have Patrick Beverley, who has decided to return to the Clippers, a 3-year, $40 million deal. Also, with KD and Kyrie in Brooklyn, DeAndre Jordan decides to join Brooklyn on a 4-year, $40 million contract. We have Ed Davis, who has decided to sign with the Utah Jazz on a 2-year, $10 million deal. We have the Golden State Warriors, who are acquiring D'Angelo Russell from Brooklyn. They'll also receive Shabazz Napier and Travion Graham. Iguodala and 3 first-round picks are being moved to the Memphis Grizzlies, who are most likely to buy out Iguodala from his contract, as he is looking to go to a contender, most likely the Los Angeles Lakers, as it's been reported by Woj. Next, we have Wayne Ellington, who has agreed to go to the New York Knicks on a 2-year, $16 million deal. Next, we have Austin Rivers, who agrees to return to the Rockets on a 2-year veteran minimum. Also with the New York Knicks, they've had a big free agency this year. They signed Elfrid Payton to a 2-year, $16 million deal. We have Seth Curry, the brother of Steph Curry, has agreed to sign back with the Mavericks, who he had played on previously, to a 4-year, $32 million deal. The Dallas Mavericks also signed Maxi Kleber to a 4-year, $35 million deal. Enes Kanter decides to sign with the Boston Celtics on a 2-year, $10 million deal. JJ Barea returns to the Mavericks on a 1-year veterans minimum. Richaun Holmes agrees to a 2-year, $10 million deal with the Sacramento Kings. The Miami Heat have traded Hassan Whiteside to Portland in exchange for Myers Leonard and Mo Harkless. Wesley Matthews to sign with the Milwaukee Bucks on a 1-year veterans minimum deal. Nerlens Noel also decides to stay with the Thunder. Frank Kaminsky has agreed to sign with the Phoenix Suns on a 2-year, $10 million deal. Jordan Bell has decided to join the Timberwolves and leave Golden State. The Warriors get to retain Kevon Looney on a 3-year, $15 million contract. The 76ers signed Kyle O'Quinn to a 1-year deal worth $2.1 million. Isaiah Thomas decides to sign with the Washington Wizards on a 1-year deal. Anthony Tolliver signs with the Trailblazers on a $2.6 million deal for 1 year. Willie Cauley-Stein decides to sign with the Golden State Warriors. James Ennis III has decided to re-sign with Philly on a 2-year, $4.1 million deal. Jeff Green has decided to sign with the Utah Jazz on a 1-year, $2.5 million deal. Jared Dudley has decided to join the Los Angeles Lakers on a 1-year, $2.5 million deal. Emmanuel Mudiay decides to leave the Knicks, as he is to sign with the Utah Jazz on a 1-year deal as well. Wilson Chandler looking to join the Brooklyn Nets, as Kyrie, KD, and DeAndre Jordan have joined there as well. Chandler will be signing a 1-year deal to play for them. The Philadelphia 76ers have offered the max extension to Ben Simmons, a 5-year, $170 million maximum contract. Pelicans re-signed Darius Miller on a 2-year, $14.25 million deal to stay in New Orleans. The Clippers signed Rodney McGruder to a 3-year, $15 million deal. And that is it with free agency, guys, so far. There's been a few other trades happen, as today Boban has just signed a 2-year deal with the Mavericks. The Grizzlies get rid of Chandler Parsons, trade him to the Hawks for Solomon Hill and Plumlee. And pretty much that's up to date as far as today. So thank you guys for watching, and I will make a part 2 video as more players decide to sign where they want to go. So thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe, and hope y'all have a great day. See ya.